Spell, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be my March anticipated releases. Finally. It's the weekend before this is going to go up that I'm filming this, so instead of listing the release dates for the ones that have already come out up to this point, I'm just going to tell you all the ones that are currently out as of this going up, and then I'll go into releases after that. So first are some sequels in the UK, and both these are already out now. The Astonishing Chronicles of Oscar from Elsewhere by Jaclyn Moriarty. And this is a favorite series. The Extremely Inconvenient Misadventures of Bronte Middlestone or something is the first book. And I collect all the editions, so this is the current one. It came out in paperback instead of hardback, so I have to check my collection, but that. And the second book in a series, Maggie Blue and the White Crow by Goodall. I love the first book and I can't wait to read the sequel. Two sequels that are currently already out in the US. Secrets of the Storm by Beth McMullen. The first book was my favorite of all of hers that I had read, and I'm so excited for this one. And then the third in the 13 Witches series, I think it's just going to be a trilogy. The Palace of Dreams by Jodi, Lynn, Anderson. And I had finished the second one right before this one came out, and I'm currently reading this third one now and loving it. And then on to the books that have already come out so far in March in the UK, and then when I get to the US I'll tell you. Hex, Allon, and the Clanksmiths by Jasmine, Florentine. Hex Allon can't do magic. A huge problem when everything from lights to locks is powered by simple spells that everyone, save a few unfortunate undeveloped, can do. After years of feeling useless, Hex sees opportunity to change her future when a once-in-a-century opportunity to journey to the Wishing Worm, a legendary dragon that has the ability to grant a single wish, opens up. Unfortunately, Hex isn't the only one after the wish, and every rival wish hunter has magic on their side. Every rival except the Clanksmiths, Cam and Fuse. Like Hex, they can't do magic, but they learn to build Clank, creations made using the mysterious forgotten arts of science and engineering. After a fairy fiasco throws Hex and the Clanksmiths together, they agree to cooperate for the time being. With the Clanksmiths' know-how and Hex's creativity, they outsmart monsters with everything from LEDs to electromagnets to water balloon launchers. But as they race to the Wishing Worm, Hex must decide between her friendship with the Clanksmiths and the wish that would give her the normal magical life. And there's quite a few this month, so I'm not gonna go into a lot of detail on my thoughts about it. So I'm just gonna read synopsis and show you the ones I'm excited about. And then Crook, the School for Thieves by J.J. Arcanjo. 13-year-old Gabriel is a brilliant pickpocket, a skill which he uses to keep his often empty belly not quite so empty. And then one day he's caught. But instead of being arrested, he is invited by the mysterious Caspian Crook to attend Crookhaven, a school for thieves. At Crookhaven, students are trained in lockpicking, forgery, and gymnastics, all with the intention of doing good out in the world by conning the bad and giving back to the innocent. But can you ever really trust a thief? With a school-wide competition to be crowned top crook and many mysteries to uncover, Gabriel's first year at Crookhaven will be one to remember. The Nowhere Thief by Alice M. Ross. 12-year-old Elspeth has an extraordinary power. She can travel to parallel worlds and bring objects back with her. But as freak weather events become more frequent and a strange boy, Idris, starts to turn up everywhere she travels, she has to ask herself, does her gift come with a price? Tourmaline and the Island of Elsewhere by Ruth Lauren. When Tourmaline's mother goes missing on a search for precious artifacts, Tourmaline sets off to find her with her best friend George, her new friend, former foe, May, and her limitless determination. On their adventure, they encounter a band of female pirates, a maze of talking trees, and a series of challenges that test the children and their friendship. But will it be enough to reunite Tourmaline with her mother? The Wishkeeper's Apprentice by Rachel Chivers. Who? Wanted, a Wishkeeper's Apprentice. When Felix makes a very special wish, he doesn't expect to be offered a job as an apprentice to Wishkeeper Rufus Bewinkle. Now Felix must save the town's wishes from the Wish Snatcher, who wants to destroy hopes and dreams everywhere. Boy Underground by Isabel Monov. Boy Underground is a powerful adventure story about Hugo, an autistic boy who decides to go all the way into the Paris Underground to find a place where he belongs. For Hugo, the world can be too loud and bright. He likes the quiet, he likes the dark, and he loves maps. When Hugo learns that there's a whole other world under Paris, a network of tunnels, quarries, and catacombs mapped beneath his feet, he sets off on an adventure. Navigating secret passages, narrowly escaping robbers, and returning to old friends, Hugo discovers more than just buried treasure. Into the Fairy Hill by H.S. Snort. As soon as Alfred arrives at his granny's cottage, he feels like he's being watched. There are steep cliffs and dark forests all around, teeming with unfamiliar life, even odd little fairy creatures only Alfred can see. When free-spirited saga bursts into his life, he begins to appreciate the beauty of these places that have always scared him. But this special world is under threat. Alfred's dad is working on a project to dig a giant tunnel through the landscape for a motorway. As he joins Saga in the community protests against the plan, Alfred draws ever closer to the strange world of the fairy creatures, following a thread that seems to be leading him deep into secrets from his family's past. Moonflight by Jill Lewis. Can a timid rat ever become a hero? Tilbury is about to find out on the adventure of a lifetime, journeying across the sea to the realm of the dreaded White Death to return a priceless diamond to its rightful owners. And that's all it says, and I'm very intrigued. World Weavers by Sam Gayton. There are other ways to be mighty, you know, not just world weaving. We got all sorts of other powers, ones that are just as magic, slower, surer ways to change what's around us. I'm talking about kindness. I'm talking about love. That's what Ma was strong in. Hush Quiet is a girl with an infinite baseball cap and certain views on love and kindness. Her sister Matilda carries around a shotgun full of bees and doesn't need much excuse to fire it. Hush and Matilda have been hiding out in a pocket world ever since the war started, ever since Dust Bowl fell, ever since what happened to Ma. But when a boy with no memory crosses into their reality, the sisters must confront their past, each other, and the intoxicating power that has torn their lives apart, the power known as world weaving. Spy, a Bletchley Park mystery by Rhian Tracy. 12-year-old Robin has grown up in Bletchley Park where her father works as a driver. When she's not at school, there's nothing she likes more than helping her dad in the garages. Then the war begins and everything at Bletchley changes. Robin is assigned to help with the carrier pigeons that take messages to the Allies. But first she must sign the Official Secrets Act and is ordered not to leave the grounds of the park. While Bletchley is buzzing with people recruited for the war effort and all eyes are on the skies, Robin becomes convinced that there's something sinister going on within Bletchley Park itself. Together with her friends, Mary and Ned, Robin resolves to uncover the enemy in their midst. Fireblood by Sam Stewart. Dragons don't exist, but they used to. Discovering the magic of dragons flows through your veins is frightening and liberating. But with the power of dragonkind comes a desperate quest. Siblings Finn and Tula must travel to a hidden island fortress to help save their father and the world they know and discover the truth about their incredible Fireblood heritage. And then for the books that are already out now that have come out in March so far in the U.S., Girl Out of Time by Clyde Boyer. After 13-year-old Anna Armstrong loses her parents in an accident, she's sent to live on her Uncle Jack's farm. She is despondent, but on her first night there, she is awoken by strange lights originating from a nearby lake. She sets out to investigate, and the skies suddenly erupt in a thunderous explosion. That's when Anna sees a mysterious woman floating across the lake. She discovers Mara, the woman on the lake, is a time traveler on the run from frightening bone-white alien creatures. She also learns that time travel has consequences. Mara's time-hopping escape has broken the universe, opening wormholes throughout the valley, each leading to another world. Now Mara needs Anna's help. Together they must use science to track down the aliens and close the portals before anything escapes. But can they figure out how before Mara's very existence is erased forever? Skyriders. Skyriders by Polly Holyoke. 13-year-old Cassandra's best friend isn't human, but that doesn't stop her from sharing jokes and secrets with her winged horse, Nara. She, like every other person with a sky steed, can communicate with Nara through her mind. Their bond is critical when one day monsters from long ago reemerge to ravage a nearby village. No one knows how to fight the fearsome Chimera except Kai's uncle and now Kai. Injured in the battle, Uncle Doug makes her promise to bring his attack plan and weapons to the capital. Kai reluctantly agrees. At the palace, she and Nara attempt to gain the trust of the royals and train the army in Doug's lessons. But how can a young girl and her sky steed convince anyone that only they know how to defeat the deadly monsters? Songs of Horses, okay. Then a graphic novel, Song of the Sea, adapted by Samuel Satin, based on a film by Tom Moore. Many years after the disappearance of their mother, siblings Ben and Seors are still drowning in grief, as is their lighthouse keeper father. Ben blames his little sister for the loss of their mother, and despite being 6 years old, Seors has yet to speak. When the kids discover that Seors is a Selkie and the magical world that their mother told stories about is real, they dive into an adventure to keep the spirit world from disappearing forever. The Children of the Black Glass by Anthony Peckham. In an unkind alternate past, somewhere between the Stone Age and Metal Age, Tell and his sister Ren live in a small mountain village that makes its living off black glass mines and runs on brutal laws. When their father is blinded in a mining accident, the law dictates he has 30 days to regain his sight and be capable of working at the same level as before or be put to death. Faced with this dire future, Tell and Ren make the forbidden, treacherous journey to the legendary city of halfway down the mountain, to trade their father's haul of the valuable black glass for the medicine to cure him. The city, ruled by 5 powerful female sorcerers, at first dazzles the siblings, but beneath Halfway's glittery surface sees ambition, violence, prejudice, blackmail, and impending chaos. Without knowing it, Tail and Wren have walked straight into a sorcerer's coop. Over the next 12 days, they must scramble first to save themselves, then their new friends, as allegiances shift and prejudices crack open to show who has true power. Iceberg by Jennifer A. Nielsen. This is one I saw on my Amazon searches like maybe even almost a year ago, but I've been looking, I feel like I've been waiting for this forever. Hazel Rothbury is traveling all alone from her home in England aboard the celebrated ship Titanic. Following untimely death of her father, Hazel's mother is sending her to the U.S. to work in a factory so that she might send money back home to help her family make ends meet. But Hazel harbors a secret dream. She wants to be a journalist, and she knows that if she can write and sell a story about the Titanic's maiden voyage, she could earn enough money to support her family and not have to go to a sweatshop. When Hazel discovers that Mother didn't send her with enough money for a ticket, she decides she must stow away aboard a storied ship. With the help of a porter named Charlie and a sweet first-class passenger named Sylvia, Hazel explores the opulent ship in secret, but a haunting mystery quickly finds her. The danger only intensifies when calamity strikes, and readers will be caught up in a terror and suspense alongside Hazel as she fights to save her friends and herself. The Scroll of Chaos by Elsie Chapman. When Astrid stumbles upon a magic Chinese scroll, she can't help but wonder if it holds the key to helping her mom's depression. What Astrid doesn't expect is to be transported along with her little sister, Marilla, to Zen, a realm where the Chinese legends of old are real. But all is not well in Zen. An ancient evil known as chaos is wreaking havoc throughout the land, and Astrid is the only one who can stop it. With her sister, who has been transformed into a cat, and two great mythological figures by her side, Astrid sets off on a journey to face her destiny. Can she save the world before chaos reigns supreme? What Stays by Zan Young. 12-year-old Callista Wynn will lose her ability to speak with the dead on her 13th birthday. And with only a few weeks left, children have started going missing. When Callista meets the Tall Lady, an angry spirit with a grudge against Callista, her family, and the entire town, she knows she's found the ghost responsible for the disappearances. It's up to Callista, the only one who can see the Tall Lady, to stop her. If she doesn't, Callista won't just lose her powers, she'll lose everyone she has left. Usually if someone gets their powers on a certain birthday, not loses them, so I'm very intrigued by that. And then Scared Silly, Curses Are the Worst by Elizabeth Yulberg. And it says Goosebumps meets the Bailey School Kids. Warning, this book contains a very scary and silly story about a long-dormant witch's curse that's been unleashed on the unsuspecting town of Cauldron's Cove. It's revenge over 300 years in the making. Hey, better late than never. When Regan, Sophia, Bennett, and Darius unfairly get put into detention, they know something is wrong. And they're right. This detention is far from ordinary. Their science teacher, Miss Stein, believes that by using these kids' DNA, she can create an army of perfect students who have Sophia's smarts, Regan's heart, Bennett's likability, and Darius's loyalty. Soon the clones are wreaking havoc around town and getting the real kids in trouble. Will the kids be able to save the town, or will they be cursed for eternity? There's only one way to find out, and fair warning, dear reader, you should definitely read this with lights on. And Grayson Fox and the Treasure of Principal Redbeard by J. Scott Savage, who wrote the Lost Diaries, books that I love. Ordinary Elementary is anything but ordinary. Below the classrooms are winding, abandoned underground passages filled with lost treasures. Fifth grader Grayson Fox, aka the Gray Fox, finder of secrets, solver of mysteries, and explorer of the unknown, is hot on the trail of the legendary treasure of Principal Redbeard, which includes decades of confiscated gadgets, rare comic books, first edition Pokemon trading cards, an original Rubik's Cube, and a retro handheld video game. Grayson is determined to find the treasure and share it with his fellow students. His nemesis, Raven Ransom, nicknamed Red Raven, plans to stop him and claim the prizes for herself, just like she did with the game-winning home run kickball everybody thought was lost on the roof of the school. Wearing his adventurer iconic fedora, journaling in his field notebook, and wielding his elastic stretchy hand, Grayson is ready for action. But can he avoid the second-grade spy network working for Raven? Could the third-grade twins, Maya and Jack, give him an advantage? Can he avoid the ruthless sixth graders while trying to protect the innocent first graders? And who is the mysterious midnight moth who is leaving cryptic notes and riddles? It's a battle between courage and cunning, smarts and shrewdness, charity and cheating. With the treasure on the line, can Grayson trust his rival, or is it just another one of her traps? May the best treasure hunter win. So that's all of the ones currently out. Then on March 14th in the U.S., Turtles of the Midnight Moon by Maria Jose Fitzgerald. And I recently shared this in a book call, so I won't read the synopsis again. But Random House kids, or Penguin Random House, has sent me a copy, so thank you so much. I'm going to read that very soon. So March 14th in the U.S., My Not So Great French Escape by Cliff Burke. Ryan O'Hara has been drifting apart from his best friend Wilder for months. Wilder's family became mega rich when his mom invented an app that reminds people to drink water, and now he barely has time for Rylan. So when Wilder invites Rylan to join him at a summer farming program in France, all expenses paid, Rylan sees it as a chance to repair the friendship. Not only that, but he'll get to learn French, milk goats, and eat lots and lots of cheese. But before they take off, Ryland's mom drops a bomb. His dad, whom he hasn't spoken to since he was 3, lives in France too, and he wants to meet. Between being swarmed by bees, pooped on by pigeons, and sprayed with goat milk, Ryland's great French escape isn't quite what he thought it would be. Even worse, Wilder ditches him for some cool French kids he meets along the way, and Ryland still can't decide whether or not he should actually meet his father. But somewhere in all the chaos, Ryland begins to find his way, and he realizes that sometimes you have to release old expectations to discover new destinations. Also on March 14th in the U.S., A Bit of Earth by Kana Riazi. Growing up in Pakistan, Maria's life has been bounced between reluctant relatives for as long as she can remember. First because of her parents' constant travel, and then because of their deaths. Maria has always been a difficult child, and it never takes long for her guardians to tire of her. So when old friends of her parents offer to give her a better life in the United States, Maria is shipped to a host family across the world. When Maria arrives on Long Island, things are not quite what she was expecting. Mr. Claiborne, left on an extended business trip, Mrs. Claiborne seems emotionally fraught, and inexplicable things keep happening in the Claiborne sprawling house. And then Maria finds a locked gate to an off-limits garden. Since she's never been good at following rules, Maria decides to investigate and discovers something she never thought she'd find. A place where she feels at home. And it says that it's a retelling of The Secret Garden, so I'm all here for that. And on March 14th, I think it's the UK. In the US, it doesn't say it comes out till November, but on Blackwell's, it comes out on March 14th, but it just says HarperCollins. It doesn't say, US, UK. No Place Like Home by Lynn Guyan. Lon, a teenager who recently came to Canada from Vietnam, spends every day, it might be a Canada release, searching for a sense of belonging. Books are the only things that make her feel at ease, but it comes as a shock when a mysterious wind whisks her right into the pages of her latest fantasy read. More shocking still is the fact that she herself summoned this wind. Plunged into the magical world of Silva, Lon realizes she has much to offer protagonists Annabelle and Marlowe. Once a homesick reader and bystander rooting for the very characters that now stand before her, Lon is a budding witch who suddenly has the power to help their quest. Somewhere inside her lies the ability to not only save Annabelle and Marlowe's home, but also shape a familiar tale into something new. As Lan faces off against tree guardians, moving corn mazes, heart eaters, and thoughtless kings, she finds that Silva is not so different from Toronto. New homes can be messy. Now torn between several places at once, Lan begins to confront an important question: how do you redefine a lost home? Then on March 16th in the UK, The Other Eddie Trimmer by Jaclyn Wilson. Eddie is fascinated by Victorian times, and she's just desperate to be cast the lead role of her drama club production of Oliver. When she's given a real Victorian notebook, she's determined to write the best story ever, all about a girl in a workhouse. But when she starts writing, something strange happens. Eddie finds herself in Victorian London. She feels the same, but everything around her is completely different to what she knows. Soon she realizes she's living the life of another Eddie Trimmer, and it is in danger of being sent to a real workhouse. Will she forget everything she knows about her other life, and will she ever be able to make it back to her family? That sounds amazing. So March 16th in the UK, Where the River Takes Us by Leslie Parr. It's February 1974, and working class families have been hit hard by the 3-day week. The reduced power usage means less hours for people to work and less money to get by on. 13-year-old Jason feels the struggle keenly. Ever since his parents died, it's just been him and his older brother Richie. Richie is doing his best, but since he can't make ends meet, he's been doing favors for the wrong people. Every day they fear they won't have enough and will have to be separated. One thing that helps distract Jason is the urban legend about a beast in the valleys, a wild cat that roams the forest far up the river from the bridge. When Jason's friends learn of a reward for proof of the beast's existence, they convince Jason this is the answer to his and Richie's money problems. Richie can get himself out of trouble before it's too late, and the brothers can stay together. And so the quest begins. Starting at the bridge of their village and following the river north, the four friends soon find themselves on a journey that will change each of them forever. And then on March 21st in the U.S., a graphic novel, Mish the Bad Demon by Michelle Allon. Random House Kids or Random House Graphics has sent me a copy of this, so thank you very much, and I've actually already read it, and spoiler alert, I loved it. Mish is a bad demon. Bad is that she always sees the good in those around her, which isn't how a demon is meant to feel or act. Bullied by the other demons, 12-year-old Mish is more likely to be found reading magazines from Lumeria City, the fairy realm, and fangirling about the fairy princess. But when disaster strikes, all the demon kind is threatened. Mish must journey to other worlds in search of help. As luck would have it, she meets a fairy princess right away. Things in the fairy realm aren't so perfect either, though. As Mish makes surprising new friends and unites a band of outcasts, she learns there's much more to being a demon than she ever realized, and learning to love herself might just uncover the secret of saving her home. So on March 21st in the U.S., The Girl Who Built a Spider by George Brewington. Oh, look at that cover. When Teresa Brown wins the Charleston County Middle School Science Fair, she receives the opportunity of a lifetime, an invitation to celebrate scientist Dr. Flax's laboratory, and a summer spent building the invention of her dreams. Along with the second and third place finishers of the science fair, Teresa is whisked off to a world of robots, excitement, and danger. Dr. Flax claims his inventions are going to help stop climate change and make the world a better, safer place. But is that true? And can Teresa and her friends get to the bottom of the mysteries of his laboratory? Also on March 21st in the U.S., Harboring Hope by Susan Hood says the inspirational true story of how 22-year-old Henny Sindling courageously helped smuggle hundreds of Jewish families in occupied Denmark to safety in Sweden during the Holocaust. A middle-grade nonfiction novel in verse by award-winning author Susan Hood. It wouldn't be easy, but they had to try. It was their only chance to survive. In 1943, Henry Sinding, only 22 years old, and the crew of Goodall, a lighthouse supply boat, risked everything to smuggle their Jewish compatriots across the Øresund Strait to safety in Sweden during World War II. In Henry's words, it was the right thing to do, so we did it. Simple as that. But what happened when our operation cover was blown and it was Henry's turn to escape? This incredible true story and verse about courage, community, humanity, and hope is perfect for fans of Lifeboat 12. And includes extensive black matter with primary sources, additional information, further reading, and photographs. I think it's going to be a powerful read. Also on March 21st in the U.S., Wild Bird by Diane Zoller. Her name was Ripe. That wasn't really her name. It was what the strangers called her. She didn't remember her real name. She didn't remember anything at all. Ripe was hiding in the hollow of a tree trunk when they found her. She was hungry, small, cold, alone. She did not speak their language or understand their mannerisms, but she knew this. To survive, she would have to go with them. In 14th century Norway, the plague has destroyed the entire village of Skavega. To stay alive, Ripe, the only one left, must embark on a sweeping adventure across Europe with the son of an English ship captain and a band of troubadours in search of a brighter future and a new home. So on March 21st in the U.S., graphic novel, Beowulf. It says it's a retelling of Beowulf. Listen, hear a tale of mallow munchers and warriors who answer Candy's clarion call. Somewhere in a generic suburb stands Treeheart, a kid-forged sanctuary where generations of tireless tykes have spent their youth making merry, spilling soda, and staving off the shadow of adulthood. One day, these brave warriors find their fun cut short by the nefarious neighbor Grendel, who can no longer tolerate the sounds of mirth sleeping into his joyless adult life. As the guardian of gloom lays siege to Treeheart, scores of kids suddenly find themselves transformed into pimply teenagers and sullen adults. The survivors of the onslaught cry out for a savior who is unbreakable and whose appetite for mischief is unbounded. They call for Beowulf. So on March 21st in the U.S., at the top of the book it says Disney's Peter Pan and Wendy, and the book's called Tiger Lily and the Secret Treasure of Neverland by Sherry Demoline. Tiger Lily and her community, the indigenous people of Neverland, possess a unique ability. They can choose to grow up. But for now, Tiger Lily is enjoying being 13, spending time with her grandmother, and exploring alongside her horse and her friends. Then Tiger Lily uncovers a plot by two of Captain Hook's pirates who are searching for a mysterious, powerful treasure. Determined to protect Neverland, Tiger Lily sets out on a very grown-up mission. Find the treasure first and keep it out of the pirates' reckless hands. As her journey takes her from Mermaid Lagoon to the Lost Boys' hideaway and beyond, Tiger Lily will need to become the brave leader she has always wanted to be. Can she save her home and the people she loves before it's too late? And then on March 28th in the U.S., Amelia Gray is Almost Okay by Jessica Brody. 12-year-old Amelia Gray has changed schools 39 times because of her dad's job, which doesn't leave a lot of time for making friends. But that's okay. Amelia loves her life on the go with Dad and their adorable super mutt, Biscotti. She's been in enough middle schools to know that friendships are messy, and who needs that? But when her dad announces that he wants to stay in their new town for the whole summer, maybe even forever, Amelia realizes she's going to have to do the one thing she's never had to do, fit in. So she gives herself not one but 3 total makeovers to try out a few personalities and hopefully find her thing. Is she Amy, a confident track star? Melly, a serious journalist? Or Leah, a bold theater kid? Juggling 3 identities is hard, and Amelia soon finds herself caught in the kind of friendship drama she has always managed to avoid. Yet, despite her best efforts, she still can't answer the most important question of all. Who is the real Amelia Gray? Also on March 28th in the U.S., Miracle by Karen S. Shaw. Amy has spent her life perfectly in tune with Baba, her father. She plays the violin, his favorite instrument. She loves all his favorite foods, even if he can't eat them during his cancer treatments, and they talk about books, including Amy's favorite series, Harry Potter. But after Baba dies, Amy feels distance from everyone close to her, like her mother and her best friends, Rio and Bella. More devastating still, she loses her ability to play the violin. The notes that used to flow freely are now stilted and sharp. Will Amy ever find her way back to the music she once loved? With hope and harmony lighting the way, and with help from the people who care about her most, Amy must find the strength to carry on. In the end, she'll learn that healing, while painful, can be its own miraculous song. Also on March 28th in the U.S., Bee and the New Deal Horse by L.M. Eliot. Bee wakes to Daddy's note in a hayloft where he abandoned her with her little sister after the stock market crash took everything. Daddy's job at the bank, their home, Mama's health and life. How is Bee supposed to convince the imposing Mrs. Scott to take in 2 stray children? Mrs. Scott's money and Virginia farm are drying up in a drought and Great Depression too. She might have to sell her beautiful horses, starting with a dangerous chestnut that's caused tragedy in the past and injures her stableman shortly after Bee arrives. But wrestling with her own hurts and fears, Bee understands the chestnut's skittish distrust. She sees hope in the powerful jumper. If he can compete at horse shows, they might save the farm, and maybe Bee can even win a place in Mrs. Scott's heart. As long as the horses are okay. Also on March 28th in the U.S., Hammer and the Jungle of Memories by Hannah Alcott. Courage is the strongest magic there is. On Hammer's 13th birthday, she receives nothing but endless nagging and yet another errand to run in the Lang Kawi jungle that looms behind her home. No one has remembered her special day, and so stifled and angry, Hammer ignores something she shouldn't, the rules of the jungle. Always ask permission before you enter. Hammer walks boldly in. Never take what isn't yours. Hammer finds the most perfect jambu and picks it. Of course, rules exist for a reason, and soon an enormous were-tiger is stalking her dreams, demanding payment for her crimes, and Hammer embarks on a quest deep in the jungle to set things right. It says it's a Malaysian spin on Little Red Riding Hood. So then on March 30th in the UK, Wider Than the Sea by Serena Molly. Ro finds school impossible. She knows people think she's shy and stupid, but when she goes to the bay each afternoon to watch the dolphin leap through the water, she finds the strength to keep going. Then the dolphin disappears and everything starts falling apart. Can Ro overcome her fears to find him? Dolphin better be okay. And then lastly, on March 30th in the UK, The Starlight Stables Gang. It's the first book in a new series by Esme Higgs and Joe Cotterhill. Summer has always loved horses, but she never thought she'd be able to learn how to ride them, not with money being so tight at home. Then she discovers the Starlight Stables, where she meets a new gang of friends and learns how to ride in return for helping out with the horses. It's a dream come true. Summer falls in love with life at the stables, and especially with Luna, a beautiful dapple gray pony. But one day, Summer arrives at the stables to find that Luna has been stolen in the night. It's up to the Starlight Stables gang to follow the clues and rescue Luna before it's too late. Again, the horse better be okay. Alright, y'all, that's it for this video. Did you see any that you're excited about? Let me know in the comments. And I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you would like to subscribe, I would love that if you'd like to. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.